next up, we have Ben Howard with us here. So a big welcome to Ben for taking up his time and being here with us to basically share us everything about Microsoft Project and Project for the Web. So we'll be going through the comparisons, the features, and the demo plans, and everything else on that. So for those of you, I'm just going to check my slides there. Helps. So basically, we have a 50-minute session here. So do feel free to ask questions in the Q&A window, and obviously Ben will try and answer those towards the end. But until then, I'll just kind of hand over to Ben. So Ben and I have kind of known over about nearly 10 years, worked on a couple of projects there as well before, and pretty much I've learned a lot from his blog site at the applepark.co.uk, and generally I think in my view, and many of you I'm sure you'll agree, he's the authority as I'm concerned on the Microsoft project. So big welcome to you, Ben. Over to you.
Thanks, Chirag. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, good. It was a long time ago in that there London, wasn't it?
It was the luxurious retailer.
Yeah. So let's have a look. So I'm going to share screen 2, which should be this one.
Yeah.
So you should see again a bit of a dodgy photo of me. I did like the photo you had on your screen actually. That was taken quite a few years ago, but I still had a COVID haircut even then. And I've got a COVID haircut now. Okay, so we've got about 50 minutes. I probably won't take that long. About me though, I've been an MVP, Microsoft MVP for 13 years in Microsoft Project, which is a long time. So as you rightly point out, I probably know more about Project than the majority of people, but still not as much. I do have a website and a blog. I am an independent consultant and have been for, what are we, 2020? So yeah, I don't know, 14, 15, 16 years, something like that now. So I go out and I implement Project online, and then latterly also did a lot of work around Power BI. So a lot of visualization and data visualization and data manipulation in order to, a bit like Project, in order to help people work through some of their business issues and understand where they need to make investments in some respects. I've run and created a whole set of online training courses in Power BI and actually latterly Excel. I don't know why, it's just easy to do. Pluralsight.com. So here's my first free giveaway. If we go over to a web browser and we nip over to Pluralsight. Pluralsight is a commercial video library if you want, but it's more than that. It's actually a learning platform that many organizations subscribe to. As you can see, they have, if you're watching this live, for the hundreds of you who are, then this weekend is a free weekend from Friday. This is American time, of course, November the 20th through to Sunday, November. Every single one of our 7,000 plus interactive courses, of which or 7,000 plus interactive videos, of which I own or produce 15 or so, 40 plus interactive courses, and a whole host of other content. So you've got 3 times 24, 72 hours to consume as much content as you want. If you do like kind of project stuff, then these are all my courses. I just did a quick search for Ben Howard. We've got some Excel stuff, we've got some Power BI stuff as well. So those are the 3 things I do. And they all generally take a lot of effort to produce these sorts of. That's all well and good. Let's just pick up some slides again. You can follow me on the usual socials if you like, at Ben Project. You can email me. I don't mind emails on Project or Power BI. LinkedIn, do join me on LinkedIn, and I've got a YouTube channel as well. I've just posted on there today about a session that I did earlier today. So that's kind of me and where I come from and what I get involved with. Okay, so in terms of, more importantly, today, the next 40 minutes, what are we going to cover? We'll have a look at a brief history of project. We'll also check out the current licensing options. Not a big fan of licensing, but you need to know what's included in your Office subscription license and what might not be. Then we'll do some demos. We'll have a look at P4W. That's the thing with Project for the web. That's the new version of Project. So this session, of course, is called Project is Dead. It's a bit of when a king or queen used to die, the succession would be, the king is dead, long live. I didn't get that until I was about 20 because I'm a bit slow. But so long live project, or project's dead, long live project. So we're going to do a demo of P4W, which is Project for the web. We'll also do a demo of something called Roadmaps, which is a kind of program portfolio view of different projects, and then we'll look at Teams, look at Project for Web and Roadmap apps. We'll also and we'll look at Power BI reporting using Power BI. So all of those.
Ben, can I interrupt, please?
Yeah.
Hi, just wondering. I think the connection seems a bit flaky. Pretty sure it's not from my end, and I'm just wondering that because you got your video on, it might be chewing up. So should we try turning it off, the video?
Yeah, go for that. I do have to say, it's a disc Virgin, but I've had issues with my Virgin cable over the last 2 days. So if perchance I disappear, Chirag, I'll get back on very quickly.
No problem. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. I may well go to data on my phone, which is what I did earlier today. Scary in the real world. Okay, so that's the agenda. Let's just have a quick look at this. Now, this slide says, put your hand up if you're under 36 years old. Well, I can see you all at home kind of doing that because the majority of this audience will be 36 years old or less. Why is 36 important? Well, it's important because that's how old Project is. Project was kind of born, if you like, in 1984. So why do I care about this? Well, I care about it because it gives us the reason as to why we kind of Project is dead, long live the new project. So back in 1984, Microsoft Project was created. It was an MS-DOS application. It was owned by Microsoft from the very outset. They created version 1. They subcontracted it, actually, but they subcontracted it to a company, version 1. And that's how old it is, amazingly. Most people maybe not even know what MS-DOS is. I spent a long time playing around with that. Here's then the timeline of the important focus areas of projects, if you like, or important timeline items. In 1990, it was renamed version 1, Project version 1, which was Windows 16-bit application. 95, we had Windows 32-bit. Windows, not all of Windows was 32-bit. Project Windows 95 was a 32-bit application, but Christ, I do remember it being released. In 2002, we had this thing called Project Server, which arrived on the scene, which Microsoft actually bought from somebody else, but they created Project Server. That went through various iterations: 2003, 2007, 2010, and then in 2013, we ended up with Project Online, which is a version that's put into the web. And back in 2018, a couple of years ago, Microsoft came out with something called Project Home and Roadmaps. And the important thing about both of those applications is they are modern browser-only based applications. Everything up to that point had a full fat Windows client, what we used to call Microsoft Project. That was a full fat Windows client that got installed on the desktop. In 2019 and 2020, now, well, in 2019, Microsoft released the new project, which we call Project for the Web. And again, to that, and then very recently, within the last 2-3 weeks, we've got Teams integration for both Project for the Web and Roadmap. So that's a brief history of Microsoft. That should tell you where we're going and where we're kind of or where we've been from, and where we're going to. Let's just compare and contrast the two projects. So the historic Microsoft project is an application. Winprog.exe is actually the application that runs on your Windows desktop. It is a legacy app. It's 36 years old, we know that. And therefore, Microsoft took the decision a little while ago to almost stop significant development on that application. It was too hard for Microsoft to rewrite that whole application so that it becomes a modern application, so that it fits into Microsoft's modern infrastructure. It fits into the Power Platform infrastructure, i.e. it fits into the whole common data service. So that was too hard for them to do. So they took the decision to create a new application, if you like, which we call P4W, Project for the Web, and I'll include roadmaps in here as well. So these are browser-only applications. There is no Windows client, which means, of course, they work very well on mobile devices as well. It's a new application. It was built from the ground up, and we're able to use all of the new Microsoft infrastructure, such as Common Data Service. And what that allows us to do is integrate between, well, into tools such as Teams, but also in the future it allows us to integrate between to-do tasks and look to do and project. Now that's not there yet, but you know, it will be along the line, in the same way that today I can take a planner application, I can take my tasks in Planner and they'll appear in my to-do list, etc. The modern infrastructure of the lack of the ability of Winprog.exe, the old application, to support the new modern infrastructure was the reason that Microsoft created a Project for the Web. Okay, so if we have a look at the licensing around this, I like this slide. Microsoft licensing is both complex and fluid, and it is. But on the URL there at the bottom, we've got a list of the features that's included in each license, and of course, yes, or you will have access to these slides, so you can click on the slides as well. So let's have a look at what we kind of get out of the box. So here's the URL that I showed you. It lists in the main a section of Project Web app features and then different Office licenses. So we've got Microsoft Office 365 licenses, and then you've got some project plan licenses known as Plan 1, Plan 3 and Plan 5. It's a big screen, a big list of features here, which I'm not going to go. The good news is that if you, regardless of the project license, if you don't have a project license, then you have the ability to view projects that you have been this is based upon 365 groups. So if somebody in your organization has a P3 plan and they're creating some projects, they can share those projects with you and you can see those projects. Okay, if you have if you yourself have any of the other plans, then again you'll get different access to create projects in Project for the Web and consume those projects and roadmaps and all of the rest. And Plan 5 kind of goes up to some of the existing Project for Web and Project Online licenses. Okay, so reasons do I need? Let's just try and make it simple. If you have an Office 365 subscription, then you have a project for web plans and roadmaps. If you have a Plan 1 license, then you can create a project for web plans and view roadmaps. If you have a Plan 3, then this is equivalent to what we used to call the old Project Professional license. So you can create project online app or plans, as well as project for the web plans and view and create roadmaps. And if you have Plan 5, you get the whole lot, including admin rights, etc. So let's go to the next slide where we basically crack on with a demo. So let's just do this. Quick view on time, 1:30. So back to the browser. We are done with plural weekend this weekend. That's all well and good for you. I'm on this page here, which is project.microsoft.com. In fact, let's come out of that page and just go directly there. Okay, project.microsoft.com, or of course you can go to Office 365 and log in. From the waffle icon, of course, what I'm looking at here is this project icon. This is Project for the Web, not to be confused with Planner and not to be confused with Project Online, which is something completely different. Okay, Project Online being our old winprog.exe. So if I click on project, effectively, I'm taken to project.microsoft.com. I'm already logged in and authenticated as you would expect. So within the browser window here, we've got a few things that we can see. Firstly, I've got some favorite projects. So this Olympus is a project last accessed an hour ago. I've also got a roadmap called APAC Commercial, and I have PWA project web app projects. This is the old Project Online. You'll notice of these three entities I can access from this. Towards the bottom, then we've got our list of projects shared with me by somebody else. Okay, so I don't have any projects or roadmaps that have been shared with me, and I've obviously got a ton that I've created. And then towards the bottom, I can actually click here, which says go to Project Online, outside of the scope of this demo, but just so that you're aware, the ingress to Microsoft Project now is through project.microsoft.com. Let's go here and create a new blank project. Okay, again, a web browser opens. This couldn't be simpler, and I can navigate around here and do different things. Let's just give this project a title. So instead of an untitled project, let's just call this M365 project. So we give it a name. I'm logged in, so I become a project manager. We can choose a start date. We've got some other information in this field. For those of you who were familiar with Project Online, you'll know that you had to check in and check out projects. All of that stuff has gone now. I'm also now presented with one of three views. I have a grid view, a board view, and a timeline view. So let's just go and add some tasks directly into the grid. So we can just click here, which says add a new task. So we'll just call this, call it phase 1. Prepare. Well, we'll do some stakeholder analysis, and then we just might do speak to stakeholders. And then I might say phase 1 completed. These are just tasks that we can create. You can see I can go and quite happily just type all of those little lot in, or that little lot in. We can do some other things in here as well. So if I'm going to speak to some stakeholders, we can assign that to a resource. So we might give that to me. So there's Ben Howard. I might give it to me and somebody else. I'm going to go and speak to the stakeholders along with my partner in crime, Maria. Okay, so let's just go and get. I've already said this is all based upon Office groups, and so that's what's going to happen now when we add Maria into the team, if you like, the project. If you like, to an existing group, and this might be an existing team that you've already built in Teams, or I'll go and create the group. So let me just go and create a group. We could make this, we could change the privacy policy, etc. We'll just assign. So now I've actually got a group, and we can see Maria's assigned into this task along with myself. Speak to stakeholders. We could come in here and then just assign Maria to that task as well. We can put some durations in here. So speaking to stakeholders might take me a week, 1W. Writing report might take me 2 weeks. And we've got the ability then to go and add in some of the other columns. Okay, and we'll spend some more time on that. Okay, this phase one completed. I always like to think of that. Anybody who's seen me demo project before, I like to have some milestones in there. So that's going to be a duration of 0 days, which effectively marks that as a key, in my mind, a key milestone. So that's okay. One thing you'll see in here now is the ability to add in some new custom fields. So this is a new feature that's come in recently, and the types of custom fields I can have: a date, text, numbers, etc. And we'll just have this one as a text. In fact, we'll just have this as a yes, no. Have this as a customer task. Okay, so I want to flag which tasks have to be done by customers. So then why didn't that create customer task? Oh, there we go. Just took a little while. So none of these are customer tasks. Well, we'll involve our customer with writing the stakeholders. So that's all well and good. So what else could we do? That's the grid view. Let's go to the timeline view, because this is a typical kind of Gantt chart. Phase one, of course, would be a summary task. So let's just take these 3 tasks here, and I can multi-select these. Okay, so we've got that sort of functionality, and then by clicking on the options, a window pops out, and I can say, well, I'd like to make these tasks a subtask of phase one. So you can see phase one, this is running a little bit slowly. Yes, Chirag, my Wi-Fi is bad at the moment.
No problems.
Phase one becomes yeah, no worries. I think you kind of have to pause and say, but that's the problem of being on the web, of course, is that it doesn't always quite go as fast as you want. I can link these 2 tasks together just by joining them together, and then these tasks become scheduled. We'll link that one over to there, and then we have our typical Gantt chart. And again, I could come in here and I could then say, all right, let's start phase 2, which is, you know, requirements gathering or something. If I could spell. And phase 2, of course, sits at a higher level, so I'm going to promote that subtask. And we could go and add in other tasks and all of great stuff. Of this, so we can get a compressed view of our project, if you like. And we could open the details of that, so we can get more information about an individual task here. So what we used to call the task information box. If this was completed, I could say, oh, that's 50% complete. And we could just add that in, and then bar becomes complete. Because we've got some resources assigned to this and it was a week long, then we can see that we've created an effort of 40 hours. We've got 80 hours remaining, etc. A total of 80 hours. Because we're 50% complete. Is it a customer task? No, we've got other things that we can add and perform in this data. So that's all okay. We can just close that now. Another way of just saying something's complete is just by clicking a little checkbox there. You'll see we get a nice little ping that comes up. So again, very familiar interface to my tasks and the other tools that we have in Office 365. So the grid and the timeline the board is much more Kanban style tool. Buckets, and I can rename these buckets. So let's just have a look at bucket 1 and we'll call this backlog. I'll be working in that sort of agile way. We might have this as up next, and then we might have this one as in progress, and then of course we might have a completed bucket. And I might ignore the timeline completely and just say, hey, let's well, firstly on here I'm hiding completed activities, but we could say speak to stakeholders is completed. Let's just do that. Writing report is up next, etc., etc. And we can move through these buckets in our Kanban type of way. Again, in terms of grouping these, we could just group by bucket, or we could say, hey, let's have a look at who they're assigned to. So here's the ones that Maria's got. Here's the one that Ben Howard's got. He's got one completed one. Here's unassigned. And again, we could just assign these different tasks to different people if we wanted to. We might have a look at that by progress or by finish date as well. So we've got some great ways of looking at this data. Okay, so this is our Power BI. That's Power BI. This is our project online, and we can just build this up. A couple of other things we can do is, if I want to, obviously I can delete it once we've finished with it. I can also copy it. So this is the nearest we get at the moment to creating a template. I could set up a standard dummy project if you like, and then copy that and create my new projects from that. Okay, let's go back to on project for the web. I probably caught him just having a slurp of his tea. So let's carry on. Here we can see the recent M365 go-to-market project, and that's okay, it appears in there. But I did say this is part of the common data service. And so if I go over to Power Apps, this is all built in the same tool, then we should see that very same product or project here. Okay, so this is all part of the CDS. And if we go to tasks, then we could see, and in fact, we could modify that application here. So here's my tasks. Let's just add in a new task. We'll just call it task 2 for simplicity's sake. We've got all the same features though. Let's just make that a subtask and let's assign that to Ben Howard. And of course, we could assign that to another user as well. So just so you know, this is completely integrated. I'll assign this to Andre into the team. So that's all well and good. So we built, you know, this uses the whole of the CDS to store everything. So it's hugely extensible. This is why it's a modern app. Now, one of the other things I did want to show you in project was the ability to create what we call a roadmap. Okay, so we could say click on and create a new roadmap, or I could just add some new projects, this project to an existing roadmap. So I'm going to open up this roadmap called APAC Commercials. Not got much on it. So let's just add a row. My row is just going to be M365 strategic projects. I'm going to make Andre the owner of that. In fact, no, let's make Andrea the owner. No, Andre's the owner. And let's go and connect to an existing project. So here's my Oh, didn't like that. Now that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to connect it up to, let's ignore that. Let's come out of here. Let's just go and create a new roadmap item. Okay. Okay, and let's just go to market project. Maybe it just took a little while to sync. Let's go and connect up to that project. So because this is the first time we've connected to that project, we're going to have to go and create some flows. That's just going to pop up here. We'll connect in, give that permissions. So our new roadmap can connect to this and multiple other projects, as you've seen. And once that's connected, what we'll do is place certain activities or tasks from that project onto this roadmap row, which is currently untitled. Okay, so here we go. So let's just say phase 1, add a like on there. And I'm going to take this milestone, which we now call a key date, and we'll put that on there, and we'll add both of those onto the roadmap. Let's just give this to Andrea to manage. That's very good. And the roadmap we'll just call 3, 6. Okay, so I own the roadmap, but Andrea owns this portion of the roadmap. And you can see I've picked up key tasks from the M365 go-to-market project, and I can click on here, not right click, and I can set in the roadmap certain specific items. So I could say, oh, phase 1 is on track, but this key milestone is at risk of being missed. Okay, again, we can add multiple projects to the roadmap, and we can just then begin to share that roadmap, add it to a group, etc., collaborate and share around my organization. So that's okay. So we've got a roadmap, we've got some a P4W project. I want to show you a couple other things. We should now have, because we created a team, and I'm in the web app of Teams here, a new team. Oh, sorry, we haven't yet got a new team, but we've certainly got a new group. So let's just go and create a new team. So we'll create a new team from an existing group or team. Most people will be familiar with this. It's a Microsoft 365 group, and we've got this M365 go-to-market project. So I've created the project first of all, and now I'm going to go and create the team based upon that project. And then what I wanted to show you was these two apps here. So if we add a tab, I've got an app called Project, and I've also got one called Roadmap. So if we click on Project, then what I'm able to do is add this app into Teams, and I can choose for project. There's my M365 go-to-market project, because of course this team might be running lots of projects, and we could manage and track and update that project just in here. We can say, hey, task 2 is done. And if we go over to the board, we can do some other things. We move that over to there, etc., etc. It's all just one system. It's all integrated into the one tool. Okay, so we've covered off a very little bit to just show you that this is integrated into Power Apps, Teams, 365 Roadmap, and Project for the web as well. So what about reporting? Well, let's come back to this slide here, having done a quick demo there. Our reporting options are Power BI. That's how Microsoft report everything. So we're going to take our project for the web data out of our common data service and put it into Power BI, along with all of our other common data service data, such as tasks and dynamics data, etc. But also, if we've got Project Online, we can report with Project Online into Power BI as well. I'm not going to demo that bit. It is a separate data source, but we're able to do that. So let's now open Power BI. is bizarrely closed on my desktop. So Power BI. And which one are we going to open up? None of those. Fine. Here we go. PBI project for the web. So that's going to go to my default store and go and bring down the data. Now, if we do a refresh on here, we'll notice we don't have any M365. We haven't got the M365 app in here, but if we refresh, then of course it will go and grab the M365 project, rather not the app, and bring it down into Power BI. And then I could publish this Power BI report in the usual access the report on a mobile device and do great reporting and sharing and collaborating on reports that you would typically do within an organization. So let's just see if this is going to bring this down within the next 30 seconds. Let's just go back to the slide. The slides, because this template for Power BI is available on GitHub, and again, just search Office Dev Project Power BI templates, or have a look at the URL switch. Okay, so let's see if that has come down. That's still just downloading that, so we've got a few more minutes. Any questions yet, Chirag, whilst this one downloads?
Yeah, sure. We've got a couple of questions. First question we have from Andrew Doran. Does the Winprog.exe have a sunset date, or will it still be with us for a while?
So does Winprog.exe, the full fat client, have a sunset date? It's going to be with us for a while. Microsoft don't tend to just end of life a product as such. They kind of support it for 10 years and then they end of life it, don't we?
Yeah,
and you definitely. Can go by project. Yeah, you can go by project 2019 today. So there's been no published sunset date for Winprog. So keep on using it if you're using it. You know, people say, what product should I use? Well, you should use the right product for you at a point in time. And if you get 2 or 3 years of value out of it, then that's probably the best thing to do. Yeah.
Fair comment. And very quickly, does the roadmap sit within the Microsoft 365 group like the project does? From Mark, that question.
Oh, from Teams. In Teams, yes. Yes, I didn't demo that, but if we'd added in the roadmap, yes, it would.
Yeah, great, yeah. Excellent. Thanks, Ben.
No problems. Here, therefore, I've just expanded, you know, I'm not going to teach you how to use Power BI, but we just focused in on this visual. Here's my M365 go-to-market, it's 69% complete. There was some effort in there, there's 6 tasks, etc. And if I clicked on the link, guess what? I would go out on another screen, of course, which I'm probably, I am logged in on that screen. So let me just bring this into you. No, I'm not. I'm logged in as a different user on that screen, but just to show you, it goes to project.microsoft.com and would show me that project. I'm not actually logged in with that client at the moment. Okay, so you can do, you know, you can have a lot of great fun in Power BI, looking at projects and really providing a level of enterprise reporting which isn't available just using Microsoft Project. That enterprise reporting is not available with that. So your choices really are project for web for that. And there's some nice things we can do in here. I'm just going to scroll through, just see if we've got a set of key milestones in here. Portfolio milestones, that's the one I wanted. And here's my phase 1 completed coming in. So this is, you know, here's my upcoming milestones in the next 30 days across all of the projects. But of course, we could sort that by project progress, or project manager or some other type of enterprise field that we needed. Okay, so let's go back to the slides, wrap this little lot up. Let's just always like to wrap this up with what did we actually cover. Well, what we covered was the brief history of Microsoft Project, 36 years old. It may well reach 46, but I don't know. We had a look at the current licensing options, demo of P4W roadmap teams, integration, etc., demo of reporting using Power BI, and that pretty much our time. Do connect up with the socials. Remember content, all 7,000 plus videos on there, and this I didn't mean that, but not yourself stupid with content this weekend. Okay, that's it from me. Chirag, any other questions, comments, thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say thanks.
You'd like to make.
No, absolutely. Thanks, Ben. That was a great session. Really, kind of a like a whistle-stop tour around the various elements of projects, and kind of to get the best value out of the 45 minutes we've had. So no, really appreciate that. Many thanks for giving up your time and being here with the M365 UK.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. We got one more question, if I may. Andrew Doran. And the question is, has the whole project data model been replicated in the new project for the web?
Okay, so the answer to that is no. So the new project for the web is today, and I can be quite candid about this, it's a very lightweight project management tool. So if things like baselines, different views, if you know about effort versus duration, if you know about effort-driven tasks, etc. None of that really has made it into project for the web yet. Microsoft's general idea is that they wanted to get an MVP, a minimum viable product, out to the marketplace, then get the feedback, and then start to add in the features and functionality that they know people are using in the full fat client, and that they know people want based upon feedback on user voice. So if you want to see something new in Project Online, then get on to user voice to have a look at that and vote up the things that you want. So for example, there's no concept of a baseline at the moment. There's no concept of a status state. There's no button to say let's update all of the existing tasks to the status state. So it's very much today a cut down version, but based upon the modern infrastructure, so that in 3 or 4 years time it might reach a level of feature parity, which might say, hey, if you're an advanced scheduler, maybe you should just be using Project for Web because it's feature rich enough to do so, and it integrates into all of these other tools, and I've got an application form for it for my iPad, all of that stuff that was just holding Winprog.exe back.
Yeah, no, that's it is, and I think with large organizations, if they've been using like the project server and all those kind of on-prem type cloud solutions, then there's a lot to think about, isn't there, really, compared to say small organizations who may jump into Teams, for example, and then kind of use with the project for the web in that way.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, project management is so much more than just creating a schedule, which is all Winprog.exe really did. A lot of modern project management is more about collaboration. We've got much more agile working. We've got working as we could, both of us could have edited that project at the same time. Given that we're hundreds of miles away, it's all stored on the cloud. we could edit it, we could share it. I could, we've got that co-editing and co-authoring experience that you see in Word or Excel. That just exists in the modern project now as well. It supports, if you like, the more modern, less structured way of working. However, if you're still going to go and build the equivalent of a fourth road bridge or some massive piece of infrastructure, let's face it, Project for Web's not going to cut it for you. So you still need a tool such as Microsoft Project or a competing tool. But, everybody uses Microsoft Project along with Excel and PowerPoint and Word. And it's just one of the tools you need. So again, it's about using the right tool for the right job. But yeah, if it's a big hairy schedule, Project for Web's not going to cut it today. My view and my hope is that Microsoft Project will be around for several more years yet.
Great stuff. Well, I think with that, just want to say thanks, Ben. Thanks for answering those questions, and would love to have you again sometime in the future when things unfold. But yeah, I think just want to say on behalf of the M365 UK attendees, big round of applause from your virtual applause to Tony Poe and Ben Howard for delivering great sessions today on Power Apps to Governance, as well as the Project for the Web and the surrounding services around that. So with that, I'll just say thanks to everyone. And I've posted the link in the feedback, in the Q&A window. Please feel free out. It really helps Ben and Tony to at least tweak their presentations for future when things come along the way, and they can try and incorporate that as well. And then, as I mentioned, next month, 16th of December, is our next M365 UK event. So we have Patrick Guermonet and we got Gary Trinder as well. So we got great sessions there as well. Again, SharePoint Spaces, which has gone GA. So that's really going to be an interesting one. But also, if you're developing any applications, then how securely do you access those credentials? So that's another great session to look forward to from Gary as well. As I've posted the links in the Q&A again, so there is the recording slides will be made available. Try and bookmark those links, but also register on meetup.com/M365UK for the next 2 events coming up as well. And then in the feedback, if you're after any particular topics that you would like our speakers to present, then I can try and help you out. But also you'll find that on the website, if you're interested in also presenting, maybe tell a story of your implementation of any part of Microsoft 365, then you're also welcome to that as well. So would love to have you on board with that. But yeah, I think with that, it's a goodbye from me and from Tony and Ben again. So until then, be safe, take care. Thanks.